Hi, I'm Alana. Welcome to another video. In today's video, we're doing a get ready with me for church. So today will probably just be a relatively short video because I have a lot going on at the moment. I actually have a surprise coming soon. So I have a surprise coming for you probably either this coming week or the week after that, which I'm really excited about. So, yeah. The first thing that I would like to begin with today, though, is a book recommendation. So this book is called Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney, and it's actually really good. Okay, I've been getting in that bad habit of saying it's actually really good. Like, you don't need to say actually, it can just be really good. So sorry, this book is really good. It's about a girl who... she has this like lesbian friend who she used to be in a relationship with, but now they're just friends, and they make friends with this other couple, a man and a woman, and everyone in the friend group is kind of like artsy and cool, like they're all writers and actors and poets and stuff like that. And then the main girl, she kind of like begins this inappropriate relationship with her friend's husband, and so they start like emailing each other just like inappropriate things, and like, yeah, so inappropriate relationship with her friend's husband. And it's a really good book so far. So that is my only book recommendation for this week. But I do have some Soft White Underbelly interviews that I would like to share that I listened to recently. So my favorite one that I listened to this past week was with a woman called Shawn, Shawn, and I really love this interview. So Shawn is a crystal meth addict who lives on Skid Row, and she told her story of how she murdered her mother when she was... so in the interview she says that she murdered her mother when she was 25, but then in the comment section, like if you read the comment section, you can always find out the truth of the matter. And so someone in the comment section said that she was actually 36 when she murdered her mother. And basically, like, she said that she did it because her mother wouldn't let her see her dying dad or something. But then a lot of the comment sections, like, you know, linked news articles, and they said actually this woman murdered her mother because she wanted like money for drugs. And I really love this interview. I actually found it really funny. You probably won't find it funny. You'll probably just find it sad and dark and terrifying. But I found it really funny because I'm a bit twisted. Because like she was just very, very brash in the way that she spoke about like everything. Like she talked about how she loved having sex with men who were black and buff. She said, I like them black and buff. And she talked about how she like threatened the men that she was with. Like she said, I killed my mother and I'll kill you too if you don't, you know, behave yourself. And so she was kind of a bit of a tyrant. But she loved her meth, and she loved big black buff men. And yeah, she spoke about how she killed her mother when she was 25, but she was actually 36. She said that her boyfriend at the time like held her down while she shot her dead. And so yeah, now she just smokes crystal meth and has sex with big black buff men. Yeah, but that was Shawn, and I really loved her story. And then I actually listened to another episode. This was not on Soft White Underbelly. It was on another podcast called Hard Knox Talks, I think. And this was one of the saddest, hardest interviews I've ever listened to. So this was with a woman who was in meth psychosis, and like she was living in a tribal community at the time, whatever that means. And she had been being abused by this man like her whole life. I think it was her cousin. And then one day she was like sleeping in her camper van, and her cousin came up and he like knocked on the window, and she was just like, she just snapped because she said that she just had it, and she was, you know, smoking meth at the time, so she was not in her right state of mind. And she just leapt out of the camper van and she poured like gas on herself and then lit herself on fire. And now she has burns over like her whole body. Like she is an 80% burns survivor, chemical burn survivor. And this poor woman, like this interview was so hard to listen to and so sad. Like she'd been being abused her whole life, and then she just like snapped because she was like, I need to do something drastic or this will never end. And so yeah, she poured gas on herself and lit herself on fire. And then the water wasn't connected or something, so she had to like douse herself in dirty laundry water to make the fire go out. And then she was airlifted to a hospital by helicopter, and then she was in the hospital for several months, and her mother was staying with her in the hospital. But her mother sounded like so cruel also. Like when she would be upset about how she looked because of these burns, her mother would just say like, well, that's your fault, you did it to yourself, so you deserve to look like this. And then when she was in the hospital, she had to be on so many drugs, and like she had to have help to shower or to go to the bathroom, or like this was the hardest interview I think I've ever listened to. And then when she was in the hospital, her mum was staying at a hotel nearby so that she could be with her in the hospital. And while her mum was staying there, the people who were like house sitting her house kept stealing things. Like her mum would go home and there would be televisions and art and stuff stolen from her house. And so then eventually Shawn, she decided, no, not Shawn, the woman with the chemical burns, her name was Crystal. Crystal, she decided like to leave the hospital so that she could go and live with her mum. And then after she just left the hospital, her mum was smoking meth, and one day when her mum was being mean to her, she was like, you're going to give me some of that. And so then she started smoking meth with her mum, and then they went to get her prescription filled at the hospital because she was on a lot of like Dilaudid and stuff like that for all of the pain that she was in. And the hospital did a UA, urinary analysis, and they said, look, we know that you're on meth, your urinary analysis has come back positive for meth, and so we're not going to fill your prescriptions anymore. And they just left her like to go home without any medication, and like she had 80% chemical burns over her whole body. And like, oh my gosh, it was such a devastating story, like a really, really, really sad story. And I'm like a seasoned listener of sad stories, but this one was particularly sad. So those were Shawn and Crystal. Thank you for getting ready with me for church today. You're beautiful, you're perfect, I love you, God bless you. If you're new, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.